1, Vatu? Who the fuck came up with these names? You know what? This is Innocent Spirits. I'll call it Book 3. Let's see that not be confusing. This is video 4 of a video series ranking and reviewing every season of Avatar. There's a playlist that you should check out for the rest of the videos, as some jokes might carry over from previous videos. And of course, this is a good time to remind you to subscribe. So do it. This is both critique and my opinion, but I urge you to comment if you want to. I read everything. Book 2 of Korra. Title 3, universally hated for its amazing retconning abilities, strange characterization, monologue which I'm definitely writing wrong on the script, reverting Korra's development, BDSM side plot, and that ridiculous final part. But what if I told you, it's actually not that bad? Partially because of Berek's introduction, but still. Sure, when it comes down to it, it's easy to see all of the problems with having 9,000 side plots. Korra wants to be a bitch, Unalak wants power, civil war, Bolin's getting a girlfriend, Mako wants to bang 2 bitches, Asami didn't study business manager, Raava, Wan, Vatu, Oatmeal, the Spirit Ward, Tenzin and his family, Mako getting ignored. It's fairly packed and sometimes unnecessarily so. But maybe that's the point. Now, I'm not here to claim 3 is a misunderstood masterpiece. It's totally misunderstood, but flaws are flaws. Some may be intentional, but a flaw is still a flaw if that intentionality doesn't shine through. It'd be like making a racist joke with no indication that it's a joke and then complaining to people about not understanding that it's a joke. Still, this book has so much hidden behind its flawed premise, which only comes to light after analysis because the writing and flow doesn't convey said premise in its entirety. First off, this season is about lies. Let's talk about this theme for a minute. Truth is defined by perspective, and naturally we all have our own personal truths, information that we know for sure with minimal chance of being wrong. When you jump, you know that you aren't gonna fly even if it would be extremely cool. You're gonna fall. If I ask your name, you know it. Where you live, you can see it, even if your birth certificate says otherwise, and even if you live in Texas, which already clearly belongs to Mexico. Okay, this is a terrible example, which is a joke. This is a callback to the racist joke thing I made a minute ago. Your name is still your name, and you still live where you live. This is your truth, and challenging it is a bizarre concept. Lies, on the other hand, are at the very least binary, and at the most infinite. Everyone can lie, and you can be sure that something is a lie because there could be countless possibilities. And I'm not just spitting out of my ass. If there's any part of this season that shows this theme while being a spectacular arc in the Avatar franchise, it's one story. There's a few instances of characters lying in the story. One lies to get his firebending powers, Vatu lies to free himself from his battle with Raava. The spirits have been lied to about humans and thus became distrustful of them. This eventually turned into truth when one manages to bring balance to the world. And through this principle, they pretty much link lies to darkness and truth to light. So in we come into the season 6 months after the last one. Everyone has settled into a routine and formed truths to themselves. Korra has become very brash and direct, believing that she has maxed out her potential under Tenzin's teachings, which is in turn her truth. Mako has become an officer detective and Asami is trying to fix her company. There's order, or at least there's nothing to challenge the truths these characters have made for themselves. So they go to whatever the fuck land to do the whatever the fuck festival. This one gets attacked by spirits and only Unalak is able to stop them. This leads Korra to believe that if there is any teacher capable of maxing out her potential, it's this guy. This guy can break Korra's routine, bring something interesting to her, and most importantly, he's purifying spirits. I agree Korra overreacts a lot during the season, but I think it's understandable given what happens next. At this point, Korra is annoyed at everyone underestimating her and keeping her in the routine. Tenzin doesn't want her to get a new teacher since he thinks he's incredibly capable. Mako doesn't want to take her seriously. Maz watches her father, Tanrak, who believes the spirits have a vendetta against him because he angered them years prior. It's important to understand that this is the reason Korra is so bitchy through the season. Know that reason is not justification. But it comes down to Korra being unable to trust anyone. All the truths about her life have been turned on their heads in about a week. This isn't a thematic issue, it's an execution issue. Things like Unalak being so good at lying that he's able to turn lies into something of the truth by abusing the whole perspective thing, it perfectly justifies why Korra is so trustful. It simply isn't transmitted to the audience, besides a little bit of a wink to it when you see Unalak being able to purify these spirits. So anyways, at this point you get it. They correlate the Avatar with truth, balance, light, Raava, etc. and they correlate Unalak with lies, chaos, darkness, Batu, and etc. As Unalak gets his plan in motion as the convergence happens, you see other characters get lied to, like Asami getting deceived by Berek, Mako being thought of as the liar since that's Lin's truth, Bolin making his relationship with Eska whatever the fuck that clusterfuck is through lies. So this thematic is really good, but that's about it. Sure, the animation is super nice and the fight scenes are absolutely amazing, save for that weird whoosh, now you're here effect they do in the Spirit World. I do believe it is fairly convoluted and messy. It could be possibly done so you as the viewer get a piece of the experience the characters are having, but ultimately it is far from the best thematic any book of Avatar has. Added the wobbly execution, it's nothing too amazing. Now, a few things I must highlight. That scene where Iroh finds a baby Korra in the Spirit World and they have a conversation. I feel like this scene works as a metaphor for how Korra feels and is afraid of feeling, aka as a weak and scared child comforted by the hardships of reality. Tencent's arc of acceptance that he isn't his father nor as skillful as an avatar was also great, one of the most complete and grounded arcs in this season. And of course, very obviously, Beginnings is amazing. Art style, the way it's written like a fable you'd read about spirituality, the world building, the development, the animation and even the fights. And the last fight, although ridiculous, kinda dumb but with huge stakes, is still an awesome kaiju on kaiju fight where opposites have a conversation through their movements. So, to all of this, what is the single best mistake that they have dared to do to this entire thing? Not letting Bowling and Eska keep their BDSM thing going. I was all for it. I don't know why, but it was great. Also that part where Jinora just decides to execute divine intervention through spirit bullshit. Regardless, if anything was done right in 3, it's Korra's decision to unleash the spirit world on the human world because it set up season 3 just about perfectly. Bread.